Let's talk about the Knicks defense, Fred. Alex mentioned that they're ranked third per cleaning the glass, which makes sense for a Tibbs coach team. But last year, this same team with a very similar roster finished the season ranked 19th in defense. So what's been different on the defensive end for this group early on?
Starts with Mitchell Robinson. I think if I had to name the two biggest bright spots for this team right now, in some order, 1 and 2 would be RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson. I mean, they both seem like they've really made a leap forward. And if you're just looking at the box scores, it's easy to tell with Barrett. It's not as easy to tell with Robinson, who is averaging only 1 block a game, which is not a lot for him, who's averaging 6 points a game, which even for him is, I think, a career low. He's, at least since he started playing regularly, he is not putting up those kinds of numbers, but my goodness, has he been a beast on the defensive end for pretty much every single game that they've played so far. He's a better, more disciplined pick and roll defender than I've ever seen him as. When he is on the floor, he just locks down the paint. He's a fabulous rim protector. He's deterring drivers. There was a possession in the Clippers game on Monday where he had to switch onto Kawhi. Kawhi was on the left wing, and it was just him and Kawhi. And this is like early season healthy Kawhi, right? Mm-hmm. And Kawhi tries to go to the rim. It goes right. And he can't get to the rim. Like Mitch just keeps him away from the rim the whole time. So Kawhi just tries to dribble through the paint, and he tries this little off balance turnaround 9-footer, and Mitch contests it right in his face and he airballs it. I'm like, this is a MVP caliber player in his prime who's actually healthy that we know of right now, and who's been playing like Kawhi Leonard, and Mitch is just sticking with these guys now. You know, when he's on the floor, they're a different sort of animal. They are forcing more turnovers than they did last year. You know, Tibbs defenses, not always, but generally are not high turnover defenses, even when they're at their best. And the reason why is because Tibbs believes that kind of great principles come in before you start trying for the turnovers. He believes that the best way to get turnovers is to have excellent ball pressure and then stay in your shell behind that ball pressure. And then when somebody messes up, then you pounce, right? Mm-hmm. And that is happening a lot more this year. The ball pressure has been good. Grimes is good on the wing. Hart is good on the wing. DiVincenzo is feisty. RJ Barrett's been much better defensively. He was pretty good when he came into the league defensively his first few seasons. And I thought he fell off pretty significantly during the regular season last year on the defensive side. And I think he's recovered what he was before. He's been totally solid for them. And Mitch, man, and Hartenstein as well. Like just having that paint protection for 48 minutes is really big for them and has been really helpful. And I don't know if they're going to stay in the top 3 all year, but I do think them being a legitimately good defense I would expect that for the rest of the season, especially if Mitch is going to keep playing at this level, because between the way that he's guarding, the way that he rebounds now, I mean, he is right up there with the tier 1 best rebounders in the NBA at this point, not just on offensive rebounds, because he averages like 6.5 defensive rebounds a game, 6 defensive rebounds a game. But Julius Randle vacuums up all the open ones, you know, like his rebounds are tough in traffic, 3 people around him, tapping it up 7 times and recovering it, rebounds. He gets difficult rebounds like all the time. And meanwhile, he is tracking to become the first on the other side, tracking to become the first player in 26 years to average more than 6 offensive rebounds a game. So this dude has really become a fantastic player in his role, that, you know, defensive anchor and screener and roller and diver and offensive rebounder.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that offensive rebounding, because as you mentioned, he's averaging over 6 offensive rebounds per game. And for context, the next closest player in the league is grabbing around 4 per game. By the way, do either of you know who that is?
Is that Asar Thompson?
It's rookie Asar Thompson.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive on its own.
Wonderful guess.
What is it about Robinson's game that makes him this much better than anyone else at this specific skill?
It's a great question. I've asked it to Tibbs many times. His strength his length, his anticipation. He's really relentless. Like he does the just tap it, keep it alive, keep it alive, keep it alive, keep tapping.
Yeah.
I remember there was a couple of years ago, and he's always been a legitimately great offensive rebounder, but it hasn't been this level. He led the league in offensive rebound rate last year. That was an 18% offensive rebound rate. It was a phenomenal number. It was the 12th best single season offensive rebound rate in the history of the NBA. A phenomenal offensive rebounding season. And this year, he's up to over 20% so far, which right now he's just barely below Dennis Rodman's all-time single season record, which is it's an insane start to a season. And offensive rebounding percentage is the percentage of your team's misses that you get when you're on the floor. So like his offensive rebounding percentage on the season is higher than like 5 teams' offensive rebounding percentage. What makes him so good at it, he's so incredible with his second jump, I think, is a big part of it. So when he's doing that tap, tap, tap thing, he's just getting back up quicker than the next guy. He's really become great at carving out space down low, blocking out a million guys. His arms are so long. And a couple of years ago, he came into camp. He had off-season surgery, and he came into camp too heavy. And I don't think he was fat. His mission over the summer was like he was going to put on bulk and muscle. He was like trying to bulk up because he had ankle or foot surgery, and he couldn't really do cardio. And so he was like, I don't want to get out of shape, so I'm going to work out a lot. But he couldn't run because he was wearing a boot and whatever. And he got too big, and I think it affected his athleticism. It affected his quickness, and then all of a sudden, the next year, he slims down a little bit, but he kind of realized during that season, like, you know what, if I'm this big, like I can guard guys like Joel Embiid. So what if I just find my medium? And all the players are talking about how he is in the best shape he's ever been in now. And he's kind of found that medium where when he first came in the league, he was really skinny and he was this bouncy, skinny kind of Nick Claxton like sort of center. And now he's just this physical, dominant force who has the athleticism to pair with it. And he's become a heck of a player. I mean, I think he's really become a heck of a player. He's been one of the most important players this year.